Welcome to your Networth's Network. I'm your host, Corey McNabb, and this is a networking style podcast where we bring up special guests, learn about them, their lives, and their businesses, and figure out how we can all work together. My goal in life is to rise to a place of excellence, and I want to bring you with me. So, that being said, let's introduce our special guest, Mr. Rex Shippy. How are you doing, Rex?
I am doing wonderful. Thank you so much for having me, Corey.
Thank you, man. It's been an honor. I've met you a couple times at a couple different events going on across the country, and I just I don't know if you consider yourself a leader, but I definitely consider yourself a leader in the Subto community, and super appreciative that you took time out of your busy schedule to hang out with me.
I really appreciate it, and that I love. I consider myself a leader, and and I'm a regional leader in sub two, but I leader is a lot of people think that they have to be called on to be a leader. They have to have someone higher up than them tell them that they're a leader. And I think this kind of leads right into it's a great start, but I think leadership is really something that we just have to step into. That we can create and become a leader without anybody telling us that we are a leader, I think, and just step into it and start doing it. And
Yeah.
I think that's what a true leader is just stepping up and doing things.
Okay. All right. Awesome. Already a little bit of motivation and information there. But Rex, go ahead and tell the audience a little bit about yourself.
So I am 26 years old, born and raised in Idaho, have lived here my whole life, married to an amazing lady named Katrina. We have two beautiful daughters. And I grew up in more like the lawn care landscaping business. And I owned one. I've never held a traditional job, have always been self employed. A year ago, just over a year ago, we sold everything that we had and moved to town to chase our real estate dream and to build a life that we left a good life to build a great life. So just yeah, made a big change a year ago and started the real estate stuff, and it's had its fair challenges, but it's been great. It's been learning. It's been a something that has really taught me a lot about myself and about what I could become.
Okay. So so you were running a lawn care business. Um but you say you sold all of it. So you're talking your house, all of it, and moved on and went full time real estate?
Yeah, so I had a when I turned 18, I had my own lawn care business for 2 years there, and then I sold the lawn care business and went into more tree service and landscaping. So I was a tree climber for quite a lot of years and climbed all the big tall trees you see in someone's backyard. I was the person that would climb up that tree and cut that tree down and drop everything right in their backyard, drag it out, chip it up, and get rid of that tree. So that's what I did for the last several years. We owned 45 acres out in the country. We lived in a fifth wheel RV for the 3.5 years from time that we were married to the time that we moved to town. So 3.5 years lived in a fifth wheel RV on the 45 acres we had. And I did the tree service. We raised and trained border collies for moving cows and sheep. So
Wow.
traveled all around the United States and competed with those. Won lots of things, a lot of fun. Not something that will make you rich, but it's a fun hobby. If you can win enough money to pay your expenses, you're doing well.
Wow.
So
Jesus.
that's the stuff that we sold. So we had horses, we had all that stuff. We sold the dream life in a sense and moved to town and sacrificed that for a few years.
Okay. So That's what I was gonna ask. Is do you miss it? Um, I'm sure
I mean,
obviously there are parts of it that weren't so great. That maybe you're okay it being gone. So I guess I'm trying to wrap my head around it because I'm actually kind of in the opposite. I'm trying to move farther out uh, to have more land to actually start farming. So I guess what's the plan? You said sacrifice it for a few years. I guess what's your long term plan?
so my long-term plan is to be the number one beef and lamb producer in the state of Idaho. Long-term goal.
Okay.
Ranching is something I love. I grew up on a small farm, and then we moved to a bigger farm, the 45 acres that me and my wife had. Um, we love that. We love the ranch lifestyle. That's just who we are, and that's our passion. But just knowing, I know enough about the ranch lifestyle. My wife was born and raised was born in South Dakota, grew up a lot of her life in Montana, and then moved to Idaho. And just she grew up more from the dairy background. They grew up on different ranches, multiple different ranches, but more from like the dairy background. And I grew up more farming and then being self-employed, but the ranching is something I've always loved. We've always loved that. It's been a dream of ours is to own a ranch, but owning a ranch and making the ranch pay for itself is very, very hard this day and age. And so for us, we realized we have to do something different for a period of time. We have to go build something that will help us then get our ranch. And so the thought behind it was we want the ranch. We own a small one right now, but we want a big ranch. And doing what we were doing would never get us to where we needed to go, where we wanted to go. Me climbing trees until I'm 50, 60 years old will not get us to where we want to go. And us raising and training dogs will not get us to where we want to go. We have to go create something else that will then get us to where we want to go. So really the goal behind it was to move to town for 3 years, live in town for 3 years, and then buy another place out in the country. It may just be an acre or 2 acres and live there for a while, but within 10 years to own 1,000 acres and then continue growing it from there. And so the sacrifice was getting rid of all the country stuff, living in town for the next 2 to 3 years. And then it's get out. I hate living in town. It has its perks and has its conveniences where you can order groceries from Walmart to your front door, but that's just not me. And I love the outdoors and I love the ranching stuff, lifestyle.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so who pitched this idea of sacrifice first?
That's a good question. So I heard it was kind of something we came up together. I heard we was listening to one of the daily dials, Subto, if you don't know what Subto is, but listening to a Zoom, and Marlon Johnson made a comment of, why do you know all about all of this other stuff if it's not where your goal's over here, but you know about all of this stuff over here? Why? And second thing, me and my wife, we love to do things together. I was out cutting trees all day. I would come home and then try to do real estate, and she's stay-at-home mom, and then she's raising and training dogs. And then finally, we just had to have a sit-down conversation. She's like, I love what we do, but I hate doing it separately. We're living our own lives kind of here. I hate that. We love doing stuff together. So we really just decided something has to go. Whether that's the dogs, whether that's the real estate, whether that's the tree business, I don't know. I didn't want to be a tree climber forever anyhow. So that's when we really just sat down and had a conversation. What if we just sold everything, moved to town? We spent all of our time on real estate. So I don't know necessarily who pitched it first. It was just something we kind of talking through, and kind of something we were both thinking about in the back of our minds.
Wow. Like I see the parallels and how I could potentially do that as well. I just know my wife, she's super cautious in things. She'd be like, because I actually, it's funny you say that. I've been for the past like month, every now and then I'm like, babe, let's just sell everything, sell it all, and we'll go do, travel, or we'll go, whatever. And she's like, really? No, we're not. We just started homeschooling our kid. We're not gonna do that. So goodness. So no, that's man, that's awesome. So
It's challenging.
Okay, that's what I was about to ask.
It's challenging, and there's this balance too of you only have, if you're lucky, 80 summers on this earth. What are you doing with those 80 summers? I've already spent up 26 of them. So over a quarter of my summers are gone, if I'm lucky. Yes, we're looking ahead, to eternity. And that is the end, like that's the end all be all, is eternity in heaven. So we're looking ahead, yes. But it's also this balance of, it's not just about money. I also want to enjoy my life. I also want to do all of these awesome things. Whether it's, even if it's just own 2 acres and have a garden, have a few dogs, horses, things like that. But so there was this balance, like, okay, do we just do this anyhow? But there was a point where we just had to make the sacrifice. We had to cut everything and go to one and only one thing for a period of time. Because I never came from money. My wife didn't come from a family of money. We want to build something bigger for our kids, not to just give them everything, but show them that they can go and take dominion of the world, and actually change lives along the way, build something bigger. For us, living our lives small is not changing the lives of other people like we could. If some of our mentors and coaches would have lived their lives small and not went out and did big things with their lives, me and you wouldn't be talking right now, probably.
It's true. Okay. Dadgummit. I had a question on the tip of my tongue, and now it's gone. So oh, go ahead.
It's something that you just have to evaluate and really think, is it worth it, or am I willing to take a little bit longer to get to where I want to go, but still just have the same things that I want to live in the country. Okay, that's cool. You can live in the country and build a real estate business. I want to be able to do some farming. I want to be able to do some of these things. I want to have my hobbies still, but I also want to build this. Is it going to take you longer to build this? Possibly. But if you're okay with that, that's totally fine. As long as you are enjoying what you're doing and enjoying the journey and have a goal where you're going to, I think that's awesome.
Okay. You definitely speak in my language. I just gotta plan it out and be able to pitch it to my wife the proper way.
And it's a conversation. There's days where we're like, what are we doing this for?
No.
We're living in town. Our kids are in town. Like, what are we here for? Why aren't we living on a 2-acre place and still doing this? And I'm hoping within a year we can be back out on a 2-acre place. So hopefully we can do it in 2 years instead of 3 years. And that's what I'm really pushing towards. So I really want that. But there's also, you go through these ups and downs. It's like, what am I even doing this for? Then it's like, I know why I'm doing this. I know why I'm doing this.
Yeah. So let's, because now I remember my question. All right. So you've made the sacrifice. You're living in town now for 2 to 3 years. What is your business plan? Like how are you going to, I guess, generate the cash flow or capital or whatever it is you need to move on back to the country?
Great question. So we buy and hold real estate here. Don't wholesale, never have wholesale, done any wholesaling. We buy and hold everything here. We have started up a corporate housing company here as well. So we buy the houses, and then we have the corporate housing company that brings the tenants for them. And then we also place tenants in a lot of other people's houses as well. So right now we are really growing that corporate housing company. We're still buying properties, which we bring on private money lenders to fund our properties, fund the entry fees of them. They get a good return, for 24 month or whatever we work out there for a term, but they get a good rate of return. We buy the properties, we put tenants in them, and we cash flow off of them. We pay the lenders, we pay the mortgage, and we generate cash flow above that. And that cash flow is what we live off of. That is our business, and that's what makes us a living.
Gotcha.
And really the goal is to, over the next 3 years, is to 30x that business. Well, probably more like 20x that business now, over the next 3 years.
Okay. So the deals that you're buying, are you going out and finding them and acquiring them? Or are you using other people, wholesalers, agents? How are you getting these deals?
So I used to go do all the calling myself, but I've transitioned from that. I realized my time is better spent on other things. So, well, we closed one here on Friday. So in 2 days, we'll be closing one. That one came from a property manager, actually. So we host meetups here every month, and we've been able to build relationships with a lot of people here. We've built sort of a name here locally because we only do stuff locally. We don't do stuff out of state. It's only in Idaho. Buying everything. It's only here. So a property manager went and looked at this property to manage it, and the lady wanted X number. And he's like, well, I just don't feel like I can promise you that. Really, the lady just wanted to sell it.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, hey, if you want to sell it, reach out to these people. They might be able to buy it from you. And so that's how it came about. We will close on Friday. Our lender just got into town here. So we're going to, with my private money lenders, I bring them into town, spend a couple days with them, showing them different projects of ours, showing them really the insides of our business. She will be funding the entry fee. And we have our furniture lady, our interior designer. She's all lined up to get it fully furnished over the next week. And then we have a lease already signed in place starting September 30th that will be cash flowing every month after that.
Wow. And is this a creative deal? I'm assuming you said entry fee. So yeah.
It's a subject to deal. So it's a 22 built home, 5-bedroom, 3-bath, big, brand new turnkey home.
Okay. Well, that sounds awesome, dude. So you're closing, you get it furnished, and you've already got a tenant lined up. Okay.
And that's something we really try to do on the properties we buy. The last several, we've had tenants lined up prior Tenants lined up with leases signed prior to ever even closing. So that way, the last one, we only had 3 days from the time we closed to the time a tenant moved in, and my interior designer didn't like that because it's a 4-bedroom house and she has to furnish the entire thing. She's like,
Oh,
I need a little bit more room here. So this one, it worked well. It's 10 days from the time we close to the time they move in. We can get in there, get cleaners in there, carpet scrubbed, whatever we need, and get it fully furnished. We're going to host a meetup there on Friday night after we close to do a full walkthrough and deal breakdown for everybody. And then it gives her time to be able to furnish it and not be super rushed. And then it cuts down our holding cost. We set stuff aside for holding cost on it, but it just cuts them down. And if we can cut that down to 10 days versus 3 months or 2 months, that keeps a lot more money in there for the holding cost if we have vacancies down the road, which every property does have some vacancies down the road.
Gotcha. So your tenants, you're furnishing the property for them? Are they long-term tenants or?
They are not long-term tenants.
Okay.
So we do midterm rentals is what we do here. So flexible leases.
Okay. Is that, I know nothing about Idaho. So is that simply because Idaho has a lot for midterms, or?
So Idaho, we've done everything. So we've done long-term, we've done short-term, we've done midterm, we've done co-living. We've added extra bedrooms and houses, and we've done it all. We've made money from it all. Midterm is something we really enjoyed. Out of all the stuff we did, we had to sit back and reevaluate because we were doing so many different things. We had to reevaluate. What do we enjoy? What brings us money, but we really enjoy doing? And that was the midterm rentals. So that is where we cut out everything else and have done we did quit the co-living. We actually have 2 properties that are more long-term rentals. They're kind of way out in smaller towns, but everything else is midterm rental. And that's something that I stress with people is when you're doing too many things, it gets hard to become the best at it. And you have to, it's scary to say no to opportunity, to say no to those short-term bookings, or to say no to co-living after I already spent an extra $10,000 to add extra bedrooms and went through all the permitting process and that type of stuff. It's scary to say no to that and shift, but there's a point where you just have to realize I can only be the best at one thing to start with. And for us, that's what we enjoyed, the midterm rentals. So that's what we gravitated towards.
Okay. Wow. So the plan now, you're in town. You're going to keep buying properties. You said you're going to 20x. Was that just for the corporate living?
Yeah, so that's more for the corporate living. So I say 20x, but I'd have to rerun the numbers. Basically, our goal 3 years in the corporate living stuff is to have to build a place 300 families every month.
Gotcha.
So it's probably not even 20x now because we have quite a bit. It wouldn't be 20x even, I don't think. So that 3-year goal is to be at 300 every month.
Okay. And then, so you're building up the corporate, you're still buying properties to make midterm rentals. At what point are you able to look at it and go, hey, we've hit this goal? Maybe it's not even, full 3 years into being town. At what point do you go, hey, we hit this goal. Let's let's go ahead and move? Like, do you have a number in mind or a number of houses, families helped, something like that?
I don't have an exact number in mind. Um, when I don't have an exact number in mind. I think when the timing comes, we'll know it. And I'm a flexible person, you know. I think when the timing comes, we'll know it. Whether we might just rent a place in the country that's a 2 acre place, 3 acre place. I'm good with just renting a 2, 3 acre place out in the country. If I can rent that and rent out my personal house here and make it make sense, I'm totally game for that. So I think it's going to be sooner than I think it's going to be a lot sooner than I was originally thinking.
Okay. Well, that's good to hear, man. Sounds like, and I don't expect anything less, but it sounds like you got a plan. You got the pathway to your goal. Now it's just executing. How can people help you in that goal?
It's a great question there. So I have a few different, so that's kind of like this business. I have a few different goals in the corporate housing stuff. As we buy properties, we're always looking for long-term lenders, lenders that want to lend 24 months, things like that. Um, as we buy them, to me, I like to build a relationship with my lenders. So that's really one of the big things there. As we're so local that in the corporate housing itself, or as clientele bringing in clients for it, a lot of that is done locally. But if someone has tips and tricks on that, I would love to have a conversation, with them. So that's been something we're learning still on that side of it.
Okay.
Something that I'm looking to do more of is speak on more stages.
Okay.
Within 12 months is to start being able to speak on more stages and share the stuff that I have learned with people out there.
Okay. So what kind of stages are we talking? Like on stage at like Clever Summit, Squad Up Summit, or talking maybe a little smaller?
I want the big ones.
You want the big
Go
ones.
big or go home, right?
There you go.
So yeah, like I would like to be in the next year, like to be on a stage of 2,000 plus people.
Okay. Just real estate based?
Really mindset, real estate, really any of the above, because mindset is such a big part of it. Motivational mindset, even if it's just to share my story and help other people that are going through the struggles that we went through. Because a lot of people out there are struggling with the same things that we had struggled with and are struggling with. And most people don't share that stuff.
Okay, so that your story, was that what you were talking about, how you are making the jump to sacrifice that, or is there something else you're talking about specifically?
Really that jump there, sacrificing that and where we're being able to see that bigger vision and keep in the direction to that bigger vision and that bigger goal.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, no, I think that'd be great. I don't know how much help I could be to get you onto a stage of 2,000 people, but maybe somebody watching this is like, you know what? I need a spot filled. There you go. And right here, Rex Shippy. He also has a stage-worthy name. I mean, come on. How can you not feature Rex Shippy?
Right. And that's something I've learned is if people don't know what you're looking for, how do they ever know to bring it to you?
That's right.
And that's something that a lot of people pull back and I used to. and still do at times, pull back and be like, who am I? Who am I to go speak on a stage? Who am I to share my story with people? Who am I to do that stuff? But that's something that we have to overcome and really realize, like, okay, Corey's done stuff. Rex has done stuff. Who are we best suited to help? The people that are behind us, the people that are 6 months behind us, a year behind us. Someone who is a year behind me is going to relate with me. I'm going to have more impact in their life speaking than Grant Cardone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I definitely get it. I mean, I feel the same way. I'll be honest, Rex, right now. I mean, who am I just to have you, which I kind of expressed in the beginning, just to have you on the show? Like, I'm just a dude in a closet.
Same here, pretty much.
Awesome. And now I've got the future best stage, big stage. I don't even know what you call him. Big stage speaker, I guess. Public speaker. That's what it is. Right here on my show. You heard it here first.
Yeah. and that's something we have to get. It's a constant thing to get over, and work towards getting over, is that imposter syndrome. And we all feel it. You are totally suitable to help tons of people, tons of people. For what you've done, there's a ton of people that you can have a huge effect on their life.
Man, it's inspiring, Rex. It's truly inspiring. I get it, bro. You're going to be a great speaker. I can already tell you that. So
cast me now.
And
I think that's Ryan Serhan said something like that.
And you could even add in like border collies into your whole speech, have them do some tricks or something. I don't know how you do the get border collies to herd the audience into the auditorium. There you go.
Right. Got to be memorable, right?
Oh yeah, man. Well, gosh, I feel like I've learned a lot. You've given me some things to think about, and what I will say, for those of you that are watching and are single, at least, if this speaks to you, don't just jump in and go take drastic action immediately. Well, take action. I'm not saying don't take action, but don't necessarily uproot your life immediately. Find someone to talk to about it, right? Whether it's a mentor, your best friend, your girlfriend or boyfriend or whoever it is, right? Because that's a big change. For me, I know I got to talk to my wife. And then again, on the other side of that, you might not feel compelled to do that. You might be happy where you are. Everybody has their own race to run. Rex, I'm proud of you for making that leap. You hear about people, like I say it all the time, but I know it's not going to happen likely. So you actually did it. Proud of you, man. And it sounds like it's going to be great. Like I don't, for obviously struggles and obstacles will come up, but I think you got it, man.
I appreciate that. And I can share a little bit more on that too. It's not something I recommend to people. Even though I did it, it's not something I recommend. I don't recommend to just say goodbye to everything and go do it necessarily. But if that is what fits you, and that is, everybody's different. If that's what fits you, then go for it. When we sold everything and moved to town, it was months before we had any income coming in whatsoever. Months. Thankfully we sold it. We had a stockpile of some money that we could live off of. And it takes time. But the time I joined the Subto program, it was 10 months before I made a dime off of real estate. I bought 4 houses in that 10 months. 4 houses. And I hadn't even made a dime. and for 10 months. And that's something, that's the reality of it. Some people's going to be, 3 months and they're making money. Some people's going to be 2 years and they're making money. And we all are a little different there. And some people make money quicker. Sometimes people make money slower. I was at an event last year, just shortly after we made the decision in June of 2023, first part of June, that if by the end of August, we would have everything sold and be moved into town. We didn't know where we'd move. We didn't know what we was going to be doing for income besides trying to make real estate happen. There was a lot of uncertainties. And then I was at an event and one of the speakers said, sometimes you just have to burn that boat. And that's what we did. We lit the boat on fire. We jumped in the water and said, we're going to make it to the shore or we're going to drown. And we've made it to the shore. Now we have the big mountain to climb. That's where we're at right now, is climbing the mountain. Making it to the shore was simply starting to make income and making a living off of the real estate. Now it's climbing that mountain to get where we want to go.
Man. That's amazing, brother. That's, hats off to you. Mine, I got hat hair, so I'm
yeah.
Jeez.
I wouldn't have made it alone. My wife has been such a supporter in this and so involved in the business. If it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be where I am today. And I think that's really important too, to have someone there. Some people do make it alone and try to push it alone, whether that's a business partner, whether that's a spouse, whatever that is. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for her. She pushes me and continues to push me. And I'm very, very grateful for that.
Yeah. Yeah. You weren't kidding when you said you got an amazing wife.
I was not kidding.
Awesome. Well, man, it really has been inspiring. I've loved chatting with you. I unfortunately am struggling to come up with more questions. Is there anything else you want to share before we move on to the last part of our show?
One other thing that I am working on is putting on a boot camp this fall. And I'll kind of share a little bit about my vision behind it.
Okay.
Is when I was starting in real estate, getting started, this was before I knew Subto, but even after, there was no one local or really no one I knew that I could reach out to and go spend a day with them. Go have them mentor me for 2 days, just hands-on. I found one real estate investor. Ended up meeting up with him at 9:30 at McDonald's on an evening after I just tried to get a hold of him. Finally did. He was busy. He's making his own life, And I told him, I said, hey, I'll do whatever. He did a lot of fix and flips. I'm like, I know how to do this, and this. If I can just come hang out with you for the day. And it never happened. I thought I'd be providing value to him. Really, I was just going to be getting in his way, and I understand that now. So something I want to create is something. My vision is to create something that wasn't here when I started. There wasn't any local meetups. There wasn't local community here at all. We have built it. We built out to about 100 people that come to our meetups in the last 10 months or so, which has been amazing. And we've been able to build a community. But something I wanted to do is spend a day with someone, or spend 2 days, 3 days, whatever it is, just hands-on learning. This is how we bought this house, the full breakdown, answering questions, showing them everything. That's what I never had. So that's my vision behind it, is to create something that people can literally learn hands-on, because that is how I learn. And I love showing people that.
That's beautiful. So you're starting that this fall?
Yes.
Okay. And obviously it'd probably be easier for people in Idaho. Are you opening it up to anybody come out if they're willing to?
Yeah, totally. Anybody that wants to fly to Idaho, it's open. It'd be open to everybody.
Gotcha. Okay. Do you have dates for that yet?
I don't have exact dates yet for that. So that's something someone can reach out to me for the dates. We're still putting that together.
Okay. Awesome. So guys, keep an eye out for that. That'll be coming out. I don't want to say soon because I don't know, but it will be coming out.
Yep, it will.
Awesome. Well, Rex, any last words before we move on to the last part of our show?
I think that does it. I appreciate it.
Awesome.
Let's move on.
So just a few questions, pretty basic, same ones I say pretty much every time. First, what made you want to come out on the podcast today?
So for me, I've been trying to reach out to get on more podcasts, get on more platforms. This is one of my people don't know what you want until you tell them.
Mm-hmm.
If this podcast reaches 5 people, this podcast reaches 100 people, 300 people, 1,000 people. People know who I am. People know what I'm looking for. People know my goals, my visions. It's a way that I can help even more people while also building what I'm trying to build.
Okay. Beautiful.
For example, I'll give a little example. I was on another podcast, and someone that heard that podcast reached out to me. We went and had coffee together. Very, very successful person that has big goals and big visions. And we're probably going to become friends. You never know who you'll meet on sharing your story with people.
Yeah, that's a good point. Actually, like talking to you and the past couple guests we've had, or I've had, let's say we, I should realize I need to get on more podcasts outside of my own. You know?
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
that's awesome. Well, good. So question number 2, what is your current net worth approximately?
So in the last 18 months, let's say by the end of the year, we will have bought probably around $8 million worth of real estate from the time we started real estate.
Okay. And you said that was what, 10 months ago?
So we started the real estate about a year and a half ago.
Oh, okay.
Is when we really actually just started.
Gotcha. That's not bad, man. That's pretty good.
It's been a grind.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then, to get to that point, what would you say the strengths are that you've had that have helped you?
Listening to my wife. See, I'm very much a visionary, and I can bounce from thing to thing to thing to thing. But what has got me to this point is saying no to all the opportunity out there and getting dialed in on one. I decided I wanted to buy real estate. So I started buying real estate. I came up with a plan. We came up with an idea of what strategy we would use to buy real estate, which was direct to agent, low equity, single family homes. I cut out everything else. I wouldn't look at a duplex. I wouldn't look at a triplex. I wouldn't look at anything else. Not even if it was right in front of my face. I would delete it off my list and I would move to the next house that looked like would be a low equity. And that's how I started acquiring properties. And then once I started acquiring properties, I'm like, well, I guess we have to rent these properties out. No one really told me about that part of it. So then we shifted our focus and started renting out properties.
Okay. So in that, you did you build a property management company?
That's really what we built is our corporate housing company, property management corporate housing. That's the corporate housing company is the company that rents out the houses. So we
Got
started building an in-house property management company, and then it shifted to the corporate housing company.
Gotcha. Okay. Man. All right. So really your biggest strength was focus. Being able to focus on one thing, or a smaller like niche, right?
That's what got it up off the ground. Yes.
Okay. Awesome. Well, then I got to ask, what was your weakness?
A huge weakness that I have, and I'll say have because I've had it forever, but I've been able to overcome it to a point, is shiny object syndrome. Just like any other visionary out there, I'm like, oh, I need to do this, and then I'm like, oh wait, I got to do this. Oh wait, I need to do this. Oh wait, I should be doing this. That's that's what visionaries have. But that's a weakness, and it just have to learn to control that. And my amazing wife has helped me in that a lot.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. Well, Rex, that brings us to our second to last question. What do you need help with that's going to make you money in the next 30 days?
Ooh, I love that question. That will make me money in the next 30 days. I need anybody that would bring another. I got a property that needs funding. So private money lender who wants to lend long term, or a connection to anyone who's looking for a guest speaker, whether that is a podcast, whether that is a stage. I think any of those could could lead to money, not necessarily in 30 days, but could lead to money in the future.
Gotcha. Okay. So, guys, if you want to land on a deal, he needs some money. It's that simple. I mean, just listen to him. He's got the plan. He's got it figured out. He's going to be rolling in dough here soon. I can already tell. He's going to be on huge stages. Might as well get in now. Get your money in with him. Let him grow it. And there you go. Or if you need someone to speak on a stage, that's really what he wants. He's okay with podcasts. I can tell. Like when he said stage, like his eyes sparkled. That's what he wants. All right. So if you got an opening on a stage, reach out to him. Rex, where's the best place people can get in touch with you?
On Instagram would be great. At the Rex Shippy on Instagram or Facebook, either one.
Okay. So guys, if you have an opportunity for him, or if you think you might have an opportunity coming up, or even if you're interested and want to find out when that boot camp is going to happen, get in contact with Rex. I mean, he's super easy to talk to. Great guy. I mean, come on. Look at him. All right. Boom. There you go. Rex, that's all I got, man. I really appreciate you hanging out with me. Let me take about 50 minutes of your time.
I really appreciate you, and I appreciate you doing this and the consistency that you've had in these podcasts. And back to one of your first questions, you said, what makes me want to get on this podcast with you? I like you. I've met you at a few events. We don't necessarily know each other super well, but when this opportunity come up, I'm like, I want to be on that podcast. I want to have a conversation with him. I want to be there. So if you are looking to be on a podcast, reach out to Corey. He's phenomenal.
Thank you. Yes, and that is true. If you want to be on the podcast, I do have a link in the description. You can sign up for a time, or if you want to get to know me a little more first, there is a link there to just have a connection call with me. So yeah, I appreciate you, Rex. Just man, this really has been good. Definitely gonna show this recording to my wife first. So
don't let her come get me in trouble.
yeah. If your wife gets a new friend request from my wife,
maybe block, maybe not.
Oh man, no, but seriously, thank you so much for being here. But that's all I got, man. Unless there's anything else, I'll send you the back, close this thing up.
Sounds good. Appreciate you.
Awesome, brother. Well, again, until the next time we speak, Rex, I hope you have a wonderful time and looking forward to seeing the big stuff you got coming up.
Thank you.
Awesome, guys. Well, that's our show. Tell me what you thought. Put it in the comments below. Tell me how much you liked Rex's personality, his name. I mean, come on, that name is amazing. All right. Guys, these shows, I do them every week. If you are not up to date with the newest ones, like and subscribe. All right. Let's get you meeting all these people that I'm getting to meet, helping you grow your business, helping them grow their business. Let's all work together. That being said, guys, until next week, peace be with you. Love you guys. Be safe. Have a wonderful week.